Hi, thanks for being with me today. I hope you're keeping well. I just wanted to have a conversation with you today about a really terrible situation that is happening at the moment, which is the surge in persecution of Christians in Iran. There has been a report published recently called The Tip of the Iceberg, and it outlines the situation with regards to persecution of Christians in Iran, particularly in 2024. But we know that in the early part of 2025, things have really got even worse. And the report, which I would really urge you to download if you can and to read it, was commissioned by Open Doors and Christian Solidarity Worldwide, Middle East Concern, and an organisation called Article 18 as well. And in the report, it just outlines what a desperate situation many Christians in Iran are facing at the moment. And I just want to kind of raise it with you today because it really, really does need our full engagement. To just give you a little bit of context into the background about it, Christianity is recognised as an official religion in Iran under Article 13 of the Iranian constitution. It's not illegal to be a Christian alongside Islam and Judaism and Zoroastrianism. They are the four religions that are officially recognised within Iran. And protection is given under the Iranian constitution, particularly to ethnic Armenian and ethnic Assyrian Christians, and also to expats as well. So it's not all Christians in Iran who are persecuted, but that same protection isn't afforded to converts, people who convert to Christianity from any other religion, but obviously predominantly from Islam. And those who are converted to the Christian faith tend to meet in house churches. They tend to meet in private buildings, private homes, and they are the ones, the converts are predominantly the ones who are being persecuted at the current time. And converts actually make up the largest number of Christians in Iran. They outnumber the ethnic Armenians and the ethnic Assyrians and the expats. The persecution is really staggeringly bad at the moment. There has been a real surge, as I say, and that's really what we need to think about at the moment. Let me just give you some stats to give you some idea of this. 90% of those who are arrested for the Christian faith are converts, and 60% of those are males. 86% of those who've been arrested have been arrested for propaganda against the Islamic State. That's the predominant crime that they are accused of, although there are other crimes that they then get accused of as well. 69% have had charges put against them for being members of what's called an anti-security group, which actually it means being a member of a house church fundamentally. And 58% have also been charged with being leaders of an anti-security group, which is a house church. Some converts have been arrested for apostasy. And if you are arrested for apostasy in Iran, you do face the death sentence. Now, it has to be said that the last person who was executed for apostasy was in 1990. So it's very, very rare that people are executed for that. But, you know, there are still people being arrested and placed in prison for that. Now, in 2024, at least 139 Christians were arrested for having the Christian faith. And some of those we know were tortured quite severely as well. And whilst the number doesn't seem that huge, 139 Christians, that's massively underreported. The people who've written this report know that because that only relates to the Tehran region of Iran. And we also know that 58% of arrests were not officially reported either. So we know that that is a number that is hugely underrepresentative of the true amount of Christians in Iran who've been arrested for the faith. Now, 96 of the Christians who have been arrested and sent to prison, get this, 96 of them have got a combined sentence of 263 years in jail. 96 people have got a combined sentence of 263 years in jail. Now, to give you some context, that was in 2024. That is a six-fold increase on 2023. It's a six-fold increase. In 2023, 22 Christians were jailed for a total of 43 years. Okay, so 2023, 22 Christians jailed for a total of 43 years. 2024, 96 Christians jailed for a total of 263 years. You can see where this is heading. Just a massive surge in persecution of Christians at the moment. And of course, you know, this does build on years and years of persecution of Christians, of course, in Iran. There are currently, it's believed, over 300 Christians who are currently facing charges. As I say, we know that's only a fraction because that's just for the Tehran region. A lot of Christians and their families have requested anonymity. And of course, you know, the state threatens families and individuals if they go public with this as well. So we know, as I say, that over 58% of cases go unreported. And that's just one region in Iran. But as well as prison, you know, prison isn't the only way that Christians get affected by persecution in Iran. There are travel bans where they're not allowed to travel to places, internal exile where they're sent away from their villages and their towns and have to go and live elsewhere. Their property is confiscated, their vehicles are confiscated. And last year, there were fines issued of $800,000. $800,000 fines against Christians for living out the Christian faith. Christianity in Iran is viewed as a security threat, and the promoting of Christianity is criminalized. As I say, it's a protected religion in terms of, you know, the ethnic Assyrians and Armenians and the expats, but it's criminalized to actually promote the faith in order to convert people to it. There are many converts who are having to to recant the faith. They're being tortured and forced to recant the faith. There's many Christians being interrogated. The Bible is considered to be contraband. And charges have been brought against many Christians in the last year for worshipping God, for playing the guitar and for playing worship songs. And the other thing that's been criminalised is to receive financial donations for the local church from overseas. So, you know, if you or I, who live outside of Iran, wanted to support a local Iranian church within Iran and we sent a financial donation, that is now a criminalised offence. And the person receiving the money, the church receiving the money, could receive a 10-year imprisonment. So, you know, it's pretty serious over there at the moment. And the two big trends of 2024 in terms of persecution of Christians in Iran are firstly the financial targeting, these massive fines that have been given out, but also the longer sentences. You know, clearly the length of sentences is increasing dramatically. So, you know, it's a really worrying trend for the future. I'm sure that when we come back together again to talk about this next year, the stats are going to be even more shocking. We have no doubt about that. So what can we do about it? Why am I raising this with you? Well, I really think that we need to do as much as we can to support the persecuted church. I've made many videos on this before, but in this instance, I really think that we need to do as much as we can to raise this issue. So what can I suggest? Well, there are 5 things that I want to suggest to you today. And the first is this: download the report. It's called The Tip of the Iceberg. Download the report and read it and digest it. Really think about what is being said in that report. And then secondly, pray. It's not a trite thing to say, just get on your knees and pray. Firstly, pray for those Christians who are being persecuted. Pray for those who are struggling such terrible persecution in Iran at the current time. And pray as well that God would show you what he wants you to do, how he might want you to respond, and how he might want you to engage with this particular issue. Thirdly, I would say mobilize your church in prayer. Get this on the agenda of your leadership teams. Get this on the agenda of, your pastors, your priests, your ministers, and really get the information out there, get the tip of the iceberg report out there into your local congregation in such a way that, it might encourage a community response from your local church. Fourthly, support the organisations that are supporting the persecuted church. So, Open Doors, Christian Solidarity Worldwide, Amnesty International, all these amazing organisations that work with the persecuted church. Support them, give financial donations to them, maybe become an advocate for them in your local community. Contact them and find out what you can do to support their ministry. And then fifth and finally, I would say, contact your lawmakers, contact your politicians, your member of parliament or your, whichever country you are joining me from today, however your legal system works, contact your politicians and ask them, what are they doing about it? How are they holding Iran to account for the persecution of religious minorities? I think I just want to say, we can't be silent about this. This is a massive issue, and it is a surge, an absolute surge in persecution in Iran, and we can't be silent about it. We need to do what we can to support the persecuted church over there. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to say today. Download the report, have a read, have a think, have a pray, do what you can to support the persecuted church in Iran. And together, let's raise awareness of this, and let's pray for our brothers and sisters in Christ who are suffering so terribly, and pray God's mercy into that situation. Thank you so much for being with me today. I hope you found that helpful. Thanks for giving me your time. And I look forward to being with you again soon. Take care. Bye.